Hello, I would like to inform you that what you're about to listen to are our views and comments from the host and guests that only reflect their own view and not the community's as a whole. You're also committing to hire us at some point in the future, whether or not you want to or you like our work. I hope you enjoy the podcast. And Eddie, play the banter section.
But Eddie has died.
Eddie?
He's dead.
I didn't think wine was that shocking, but okay. Oh, he's gone!
Oh, he's actually died! Oh my god. He logged off.
We'll lose the whole podcast.
Well, no, because we're still here and it's still going.
Oh, we can say what we want now.
Shall we?
I'm very vanilla. I don't know what I'd say. There is nothing shocking.
I was just going to talk about making coffee. You know, that's it's daring enough.
Oh, I like a coffee. I do. Like
are you a fancy coffee or are you an instant coffee person?
I'm a big fan of Starbucks. Please don't hate me with my addiction
I love Starbucks.
to big corporation.
It's trash coffee. I love it.
But give me a flavoured coffee, and I'm yours. Especially if it's seasonal.
The mocha chip frappuccino is the best thing.
Like, oh, pumpkin spice latte. I'm there for like 2 months of the year. It's like Starbucks every day.
Costa's Toblerone hot chocolate. Did me in last year.
Didn't win me over. I had it.
See, I love Toblerone.
And I was like, it doesn't taste like Toblerone to me. So maybe I just got a bad one.
Maybe. When I used to work at a cafe when I was a barista, we had a toasted marshmallow syrup. That lives rent-free in my head.
I've got a lot of syrups in my cupboard that I get. Every time I go to TK Maxx, they put them right by the till, and then I'm like, oh no.
Oh, Eddie has messaged us.
Can anyone hear me? No, Eddie, you've gone.
It's great dramatic effect.
Oh, he's back.
Yay!
Am I back?
Yeah.
You are back.
Hello.
Am I back? Hello everybody, this is the Ed Talks About Podcast, our weekly podcast on cosplay, Comic-Con, and anything else. I'm your host Eddie, and this week it is another unscripted podcast. That's why I have to create my own horns for this section. Yes, I have run out of subjects once again, so therefore I just thought I'd pump out another unscripted, because let's face it, we've always got something to talk. I've got definitely something to talk about. So joining us on the podcast is Laura of Mossflower Cosplay and Erin Ottery Khaleesi's Cosplay.
You got it.
Yay!
Hi.
Woo! Eddie! Sorry, I just thought I'd do my own chant.
It's a one-man hype band.
He is.
Yeah.
It's not my fault my name is hard to say.
No, because, all right, on my screen, all I can see is Ottery K.
That'll do, like Special K, but with otters in it. That's good enough.
Yeah, but I know it's Khaleesi, but then my brain went, it's not. It's something else and you've forgotten. It's something else, like Ottery, cucumber with a... Yeah, cordyceps. Yeah, like things like that. And like, I almost went Ottery KKK, and I went, no, back out. So that's where my brain went for a while. So yay! Oh, geez. Anyway, we've already done a kind of a welfare check off screen, but we're gonna do it again. But we were quite down about it earlier. So I have said to my guys, let's keep it light. Let's bring something good. So
I'm really good
Laura.
at lying. So it's fine.
Oh, hey Laura, how's the last 7 days for you?
Actually, aside from the pain, they've been all right.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. It's been all right.
That's good. Yeah.
I think that's my answer every time you have me on the podcast. And you're like, how are you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm all right. It's been cool.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to come out with like a full-blown answer. If you're fine, you're fine.
No,
and
very good.
But I do have to admit, I am one of those people that hate people that go, I'm fine. It's like, no, there's got to be something either really good that you want to say or really bad you want to say. But I know just earlier we did say, we were just like, oh my God, life's shit. So yeah, but no, generally you are good, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
good.
can
No,
talk
that's fine.
about
That's
my
fine.
back pain if you like, but I don't think it's great content. But aside from that, I've had a pretty average week. So nothing remarkable.
Yeah.
Been to work, finished work, stopped being at work, gone back to work the next day. There you go.
You leave such a rock and roll
I
lifestyle.
am
It's
wild.
unbelievable.
Absolutely wild.
Your back just hurts from carrying the weight of massive talent, though,
Yeah.
so it's fine. Like, you're good.
I didn't realize you were carrying me there, Laura. I just thought it was just yourself, but okay, I didn't realize.
Boo.
Erin, how about you? How's the last 7 days for you?
It's good. I am in the trenches with GCSE mock marking, and I feel like my brain has become an AQA mark scheme. But other than that, it's great.
Woo! But you'll be pleased for me, Erin. Just as I finally took the plunge.
Did you?
Yes. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
No, but I'm very interested.
I also have no idea, so
Well, as those who have been listening to the podcast know that I've recently bought a Steam Deck, and therefore it's been on my wish list for a while, and I was able to purchase a game quite recently, which I said I was going to buy if I had the chance.
Is it Honey Pop 2? You can be honest with us. It's fine.
No, it's not, but it's something that you've cosplayed.
Yes.
oh,
That was a bit more menacing than it should have
I feel
been.
like a real goblin.
Sorry, I was
came out
channeling my
there.
inner Gollum there. It's my precious. What do you want me to do?
Not Lord of the Rings, just to say it's not Lord of the Rings.
No, it's not.
Erin, do you want to go explain the game before I ruin it?
So Control is the best game ever made. I will not be taking any criticism on this, I'm afraid. Sam Lake is a genius. Remedy Studio are the best game studio I've ever seen, and I love them. And they noticed me once, and that was it. My life was made. And Control is the best. It is new weird, so it's like modern setting, but like with weird. It's so weird. I can't stress the weird. And essentially go in as blind as possible, because otherwise some of the big story beats get spoiled quite easily. But essentially your main character is Jessie Faden. She is the most relatable person, because weird shit happens and she's like, ugh, sure, I guess. And she goes into the FBC, which is the Federal Bureau of Control, somehow becomes the leader of it, and it's like, cool, I guess I better do my best now.
Yeah, I've literally just started playing it, and becoming the director of the FBC, I just went, oh, this is the quickest promotion I ever thought I was going to be. Okay, cool. This is weird. Okay, cool.
It's in such a metal way as well.
Yeah, it's so weird. We won't spoil it, nor, and it's a bit graphic, so we won't go into it. So, but no, I played the demo of it on my Nintendo Switch when I had a Nintendo Switch. Loved it, but I couldn't justify buying it when you can only play it online.
Yeah, the Switch couldn't handle. Like, we've got it on our PC, which is quite good, and even the ray tracing on a high-end PC like struggles. So a Switch would really struggle.
Oh, 100%. And I don't mind it being an online version, but I've grown to know to like play games whilst I'm traveling in and work, and I'm like, do you know what? I there's nothing wrong with mobile phone games, but I want something a bit more, shall we say, meat to it. And I just recently completed, at the time of this recording, I've just completed the main storyline and all the trophies of Arkham Asylum. So the only thing left are the challenges, which I don't know if I can be bothered to actually complete. So in my mind, I've completed it 100%. Now, anyone that DMs me or like message me on social media and go, I think you're fine. If it doesn't say 100%, it is not 100%. Fuck you. I cannot have to spend the time to do it 100%. In my mind, if I've done it 100%, it is done. If I know how the story ends, I am finished.
Yeah, person behind me did all of the Riddler trophies as well, so I will keep quiet about that.
The one I think it's the only game I think I've done in my mind 100% of the game. So there are times I've just got fuck this finding all those Riddler trophies, like Arkham City when I played it on the on the Xbox. I think at the time I went, oh my god, some of these puzzles are just a bit too much for me. I went, I can't be dealing with this. Fuck it, I know how the story ends. It's fine. So I'm happy. Laura's gone really quiet.
I'm not a massive gamer, so it's all gone over my head.
Sorry, Laura, did you say you're not a massive gamer?
I'm not a massive gamer, no.
Okay, sorry. Can I just remind you of a story that you've told on my podcast about a certain game called Overwatch?
Okay, I'm not a massive gamer. I was about to follow that up with I play a couple of games, but I don't it's not my niche thing. Like, I don't come home from work in the evening and sit down and play a game. Yeah, so it's all I used to, but it's all gone over my head a little bit.
No, to be fair, I'm not saying I'm a massive gamer either, but there are certain games I just want to play, that's all. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Listen,
Like,
my current game that I'm playing is Disney Dreamlight Valley, if that tells you the level of how I like to game.
You're living your best life, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. I'm best friends with Polly,
Agreed.
and I couldn't ask for more.
The less said about the game I'm playing at the minute, the better, because it's Fortnite, and I am 27 years old.
I love a game of Fortnite.
Okay, good, thank God.
But I have to play the mode where it's squads, and every time you die, you just respawn, because if I play it in the mode where you die and you're dead, that's it. I'm out in the first 5 seconds.
The more I play, the better I get.
So it sounds like you die as soon as you come out of the bus.
Basically.
You can just hit the ground at high speed, so
if I was in the Hunger Games, it wouldn't have been much of a book.
I'd have stepped off the platform by accident, and that would have been that. We'd have been done.
It sounds like you both would have got off the platform, stood on a landmine, and just died instantly.
Basically. So
yeah, I'm also very clumsy, so
any game where I don't respawn is not fun for me, because it's over. At least with like Overwatch and Fortnite and stuff like that, like you die, but then you come back and it's about the team win. So I get more fulfillment because I actually achieve stuff, and it's not always because I'm the best team player, but I am a team player. So
yeah. Oh no, I get that, because we all say you've got to like whatever. Like I played Batman Arkham Asylum on normal mode. I could have played it easy. I think I'm playing Injustice 2 on a easier level. I can't remember is it just normal or easy. And I don't want anyone to go, oh, why don't you play it on hard? Like, no, this is how I'm enjoying the game. Fuck off. It's enjoyment of the game, of the storyline, not the difficulty that proves if you enjoy the game or not. I don't like this one-upmanship type of thing.
I am the person who plays The Last of Us on like baby difficulty.
Yeah, I don't like it when people gatekeep and tell you how you're supposed to be enjoying something. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and play The Witcher on baby difficulty and enjoy the story. Like, leave me alone.
I used to be deep into World of Warcraft a really long time ago, and it used to really stress me out because I'm just there for the laughs. But I'd get invited to raids and stuff, and the people in the raids would be deadly serious and like, just not fun for me. I just want to have fun. That's it. I'm just there to play with friends.
Well, as Cyndi Lauper says, girls just want to have fun.
I do just want to have fun.
That's why I'll never play a Soulsborne game, because the idea of like, it's hard for hard's sake, just fuck off with that whole mindset. I'm not playing a Soulsborne game because you're a dick about it.
Oh, you better avoid the game called Cuphead then.
I fucking hate Cuphead. I think the art style's very cute, but I fucking hate the game.
I was going to say, I've seen the art style, and that's quite an aggressive hate you for a game that looks like it would be quite cute.
It's very cute, but like the people who play it absolutely suck, because they're always like, if you don't play it on hardest difficulty, you're weak. And I'm like, no, bro, just leave me alone. And two, the game is just hard for no reason. Like, I don't give a shit if I've got to ping those pink things back. Just stop firing them at me for 4 seconds.
Okay, we will get back to what this podcast was meant to be, but I remember playing Street Fighter 4, I think. Yeah, it must have been 4. When it went to like 2.5D artwork. And I remember getting right to the end, and I can't remember his name. I was like, let's call him Leon. And the boss, I swear, they just crank up that difficulty to very hard, regardless of what level you're at. And I could not, for the life of me, beat the shit out of him. Every time I came close, no, he would do something that would go, no, you utter C word, and like, you mother C word, God, God damn it. And then my friend picked it up, who completed it, and this is how you do it. And he did it, and I went, motherfucker, I don't get it. Ugh. It's like, I'm not enjoying it. That's why I kind of want to get the other Street Fighter games, but at the same time, like, no, No, I don't need that stress in my life. I'm okay.
I never got past the first level of The Evil Within because when it first came out, there was no difficulty setting. And the Chainsaw Man killed me every time. So I went, no, fuck you, fuck this, fuck your game, fuck everything. I'm going to watch someone else play it, get bent. There's a difficulty setting now, and I'm still like, no, fuck you, because fuck you.
I got defeated by the Lego Avengers game, so...
That game is hard. That game is so hard.
I got through this, like, it's like the first level. And then I was on a level where there's, like, I don't know, Iron Man's flying around and stuff, and you have to go through a door. And I spent like an hour solid trying to get through the door. And then I was like, why is this game for kids and I can't do it? So I just never played it again.
Isn't that the most disappointing thing to know, that some of these games are for kids, and you're going, why is my mental structure of my own brain can't figure out this game?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, okay, no, we will get back on topic, even though there is no topic. But have you seen those videos, like those Mario Maker games that make the level can only be completed in a certain way, in a certain path, at a certain speed, and you've got to do all these tricks and flicks type of thing, and I'm just going, how is that enjoying the game? Yes, I get the euphoria of that once you worked out the puzzle of how it's meant to, the mechanics of it and how you're supposed to complete the level. But to get to that level, to get to that point, it just must be frustrating. How much of your life getting to know the way to play that exact stage of Mario Maker? Anyway, I feel like I've alienated a lot of gamers now. So, my name's Laura. I made that statement. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody follows me for my gamer content anyway, so that's fine.
No one follows me full stop, so I'm allowed to have hot takes. No one sees them.
Oh, do you know what's even better? I'll talk about gamers. I recently changed again on my Steam account. I changed my. This is so stupid. This follows on the conversation about if I was going to change my photography name from Food and Cosplay, it was going to be That Asian Photographer. So I changed it to That Asian Gamer.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
What? Anyway, right. I think we're avoiding the elephant in the room, and I think we should just chat. As I mentioned at the top of the podcast, this is just unscripted. So basically, I've got no real set subject. Me and my guests are just going to be talking anything that's on their minds that they've experienced recently on social media or in real life. It could be cosplay related, could be Comic-Con related, could be just something in the general life, really. So, as I'll start because I feel like it gives my guests something to to think, to know what the format goes, and also to maybe redact or change their subject they might have in their mind now. So I definitely have said this before on the podcast, but I'm going to say it again. I get a little butthurt when I see other people post photos of my work on their timeline, and the comments underneath it, I just go, oh my god, I love that cosplay. Oh my god, you're so good. Oh my queen, like that. And I'm like going, anything about the photographer? Anything about the photographer? Like, in my mind, I'm 50-50 part of this partnership of creating that image, right? So I'm like, I recently wrote online that I don't give a shit about reach anymore, because I have come to the conclusion that I am making these photos for cosplayers. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that they will have they will, my likes of the same photos on my account to their account will always be different, and I know that for a fact. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I've come to peace with that, should we say? But from time to time, I can see that when I get tagged into other people's posts, I look at it and go, oh, I'm not appreciated in this. Wow, thanks. It's like, am I wrong to think that?
No. And that's the end of the podcast.
Cool. Next. End of the podcast. Bye, guys. See you later. No, let's talk a little bit further about it. Why did you say no? Why are you with my
I don't know whether it's because I've worked as a photographer for a little bit, but I would like to think it's not that. I would like to think that, there are other people out there who cosplay who feel the same way, in that, you're working with the photographer. Like, those images I get back from any photographer, not just you, like the most recent set that I put on my Instagram of my Princess Leia, for example, I can see that there's a lot of editing gone into that. I mean, not like, oh, I'm probably saying this the wrong way, but you know what I mean? Like the color tones and some of the clarity and things like that. So I wouldn't look half as good in those photographs if there wasn't also some kind of editing from the photographer, because I know that sometimes you take stuff off the back of camera and it needs tweaking, and you need to like take away the harshness of the con hall lighting, for example, and or match your lighting to the character that you're photographing. So it really doesn't work unless the photographer is also putting in their fair share, and therefore if that's happening, they also deserve credit or to be acknowledged.
No, Laura, I really appreciate what you just said. You know, it's good that someone does recognize the work that goes into the work, and that's right. It's like it's just a coincidence that Erin's on this podcast, because one of the photos that I took of you, Erin, blew up on Twitter, didn't it?
It absolutely did, yeah. And I was like, it's Eddie who took the photo, and I am not a photogenic person. I am not. So the fact that you make me look photogenic is like a good 80% of why that photo did so well. Yeah, I made the costume, and it was, you know, me and my mum, we make my costumes together. It was that it did oh god, words. It did take ages. It was really hard. But if the photo had been taken just on a phone screen, it wouldn't have looked anywhere near as good as all the work you put in for it. And it's like, I'm not going to say my success, because I have a whole like 70 followers on Twitter, let's be real. But like feeling like I've made something that I can be proud of is elevated when I get a good picture taken of it, because in your brain, when you are a cosplayer, you're like, I want that picture to look like this. And then you're like, fuck, how do I do that? And I will sit and talk with you and be like, well, this is the oldest house. And you were like, here's some ideas. Here's some places we can go that I hadn't even thought of. You scoped out locations and stuff for Jessie. And you were like, and that's part of it as well. It's places I would never have gone to get those photos either. And that's all you. None of that's me.
Yeah, again, I appreciate that. I'm going to be very truthful for you. I'll be very true. But do not take this as criticism or anything. Or anything like that. When you got noticed by the game studio, right?
Remedy, yeah. Babies.
Yeah. And, you got sent some goodies from them, didn't you? I have to admit, I got a little jealous. And I thought, I bet, and then I hate to think like this, and I will call this negative thinking, and I need to change my mindset about this. I got jealous because I thought, I bet if I posted that same photo, tagged all the same people, I bet I would not been as oh god, shit! I was going to use the word rewarded. Fuck it.
I know it was a reward. I also think that's really difficult to manage in terms of photographer, because, and I think I've worked in like not game media or anything, but I've worked in media and places that do that sort of thing. Is they're like, oh my god, someone made that costume, and that's really exciting that someone took the time out of their day, and it must be hard for them to be like, oh shit, actually, without the person that took that photo, the person who made that costume would never have been seen. Full stop.
Can I just play devil's advocate for a second in that? In that circumstance, the person that's made the costume clearly loves the franchise. Like, maybe they don't. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't get anything, but in that circumstance, like, would they send the photographer stuff because you don't necessarily know the character or the franchise? Or but I do see where you're coming from.
Other bit
it's really hard because both sides are incredibly valid. Like, it's really hard.
And then that's how I got my brain around that narrative, because I did say to myself, hang on, all I did was take the photo. Yes, I picked the location and made sure that it was the right pose, because I did my research, because I had played the game a little bit, but I went up to did some Google searches and looked for poses. So this fits the game. And because I could see what was in the background, I went, right, I'm not going to take these pictures at the tree area of the Excel Center. I need something a bit more urban, a bit more structure, straight lines and things like that. So we'll take it to the bridge area, and that'd be really good. There's some nice metal grates as well. That could look like the internal of the building of the FBC, things like that. But I have to remember that actually, no, Erin did make the cosplay. She's showing the love for that franchise, and that's how I got around my narrative, like, oh, actually, I understand why she got it. But I have to admit, like that first instant, I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But to be honest, my mum
okay.
deserves it mostly because she put most of the work in.
Oh, did you give her anything then?
She's not interested. She's not a big gamer, but she was like, I'm glad they noticed you, babe, and then hung up and went and did something else.
Maybe she's on her podcast ranting about it.
If my mum knows how to use a podcast, I'll be very impressed.
They should have put like some little sweets in or something generic that you could have shared.
Well, whenever I talk, like, because they messaged me to be like, if you're coming to MCM, come drop by. And it was when I wasn't going to MCM. And I was like, oh, I can't. And that's when they sent me stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, my mum made it, though. And they were like, oh, your mum's very, very talented. I was like, she is. Yeah. Like, I was there. I helped. But
I have noticed only the odd comment here and there, but again, going back to the most recent set of photos that I posted on Instagram, I put them in a specific Princess Leia Facebook group. And a couple of people were not just like, oh, you look gorgeous, blah, blah, blah. A couple of people were like, I really like these photographs. I really like the way the light captures, you know, the feeling of that particular scene in the book or whatever. And I've noticed a couple of times, I mean, not as often as it should, but I wonder if people are starting to take more notice because there are photographers who are outspoken, like yourself, about being credited and the work that you guys put in.
100%, yeah. I don't want to start putting into my, as people know, I put an acknowledgement form for people to sign, so that they know my expectations. I don't want to start putting and say, oh, by the way, if someone does comment how good how you look at the photos, please include me in it. I don't want to do that because I know that, in all honesty, the photo is about the said person in the photo. I am secondary. I know that's my role, and I don't want to ever change that narrative. But I think what I'm trying to say is that I wish I was part of that conversation a little bit more than what I'm currently getting. I think it's too easy to say you look great in that cosplay, you look great in that photo, and there's no. And I'm not saying cosplay should always and every time say, oh, don't forget the photographer. He or she did all the what. And I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I just wish the people commenting to the cosplayers, that's what I'm trying to get. They just say, literally, great costume, great photo. That's all.
You can necessarily, and hear me out before you say anything, I don't think you can necessarily police what people are saying on your photos. But I do think you have a point in that if you are a cosplayer, you probably do have more of a responsibility than is currently going on. And I would probably also be guilty to hype up the person that took the photos as well, rather than just being, and I do try and do a post where I'm like, oh, I really enjoyed working with this photographer, or I can't believe the photographer captured such a great photo of me. And I do think there is somewhat of a responsibility to hype your photographer up as well. If you particularly like the image, then say something.
Yeah.
I always put something that's like, this photographer is like amazing. Like when it's edited, it's like a photo by @Food and Cosplay. Amazing photographer, really works hard, is great, like in everything I post. And I'm wondering now, just thinking on the fly, the next costume I'm making, no one is going to know what it is. No one is going to know what it is. It's from a book that didn't even do that well, has never had a live action adaptation, has never had a cartoon adaptation, has never had a game. Like, it literally made zero impact on the face of the world. And the only way that costume is going to get out there is by the photos that are taken. I mean, the author's going to know who it is, and I'm going to know who it is, and my mum's going to know who it is, and everyone else I've talked to about it's going to know, but no one else is going to know. So I wonder, we could do a little social experiment where I tweet two different versions of it. One that's like just a phone camera photo, and one that's, because I'm going to Cos Expo with it if I can get it done in the next 20 days. And one with someone who takes actual photos and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a narrative also that, going a little off script, unscripted, you've also got to be noticed by the photography, going to get photos as well. But that's a different subject and all in itself. And I know how hard it is for some people to get photos. And I think, Laura, we've spoken about this, haven't we? About trying to get photos, trying to get noticed by photographers.
Yes,
haven't
I
we?
think we briefly touched
Either
on
on-
it about the last con that we went
Yeah.
to. Can't remember if that was MegaCon or MCM. I think it was MCM in Birmingham.
I never get noticed, full stop. So
Yeah, we spoke about the photographers going up and creating an us and them, and it becoming really difficult to get photos.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think the last time I saw you.
I
Was
think
it
it was
Birmingham? Or was it Emeka?
No, I think it was
MegaCon?
MCM.
Or MCM?
I came down. Yeah.
Yes, yes, you came down Sunday. Yeah. And Erin, you are always noticed by me.
I know I always book
So-
with you because I know you get busy, and also because I love your photography. But like the thing with the costume that I'm making is visually it's going to be quite impressive, and I've never worn a costume that's been visually stunning. Like Jessie is quite easy to slip into the background, especially when it's such a niche costume. And then there was Leon from Resident Evil, and there's hundreds of Leons. Like, it's hard to stand out when there's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Lyri gets, because she's so different. I mean, it's a really interesting concept where I'm seeing all of like the Genshin stuff, and it could be confused for Genshin-ish. But I'm hoping it's like different enough that people who I don't normally work with, because also, hi, I have anxiety. I don't want to be like, hey, do you want to take photos of me? Because what if they say no? I don't need that. I'm hoping that it's enough, because also for me, this costume is really important. It's one that me and my mum together have planned since I was 13. That's over half my life now that we've planned to make this costume. And actually getting her made this year for Cos Expo. And she's not going to be complete. There's bits that are going to be missing, but she'll be able to debut mostly, because my best friend Alex is working feverishly to 3D print bits, which will not be ready. And that's okay. And it's like, am I going to get noticed? Probably not. And I'm having to really make my peace with that, because I've never been noticed. But now it's like the one time I want to be noticed. So that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Anyway, I just want to get that off my chest. I want to just view my reoccurrence grievance I have about things. So yeah, let's move it along, because I'm probably gonna, if I'm going to get cancelled, that's probably it. That's probably what gets me cancelled, if not amongst other things I've said online or on my podcast. I think I'll move on. Do you know what? I'll just go what's down my list, and it's Laura. So
That's
Laura,
because you know I'm gonna go
is there
off
something
on one. Laura, what's on your list this week?
I mean, we've had a previous chat about, but no, generally you are like next down my list. So I just
I didn't rant at you yesterday when it really started to piss me off.
Look, Laura, just before you start, do you remember what happened last year when you sent me that image?
Oh, I do. Yeah,
and I went ranting. I
but
ranted
nobody
about
cancelled you,
ranted.
so maybe I'll get away with it too. And I don't really care, because I have my friends in the cosplay community, and I'm not really interested in impressing or getting on with people who really don't mean anything to me. But let's talk about creator passes.
Go on.
I have noticed recently that a lot of people are putting on Instagram on their stories whether or not they got accepted for creator passes. And I've been going through and I've been looking at the people who got accepted and the people who didn't get accepted, and it really seems to me that there is no vetting process for who's being accepted and who isn't. And here are my thoughts. Okay, I am completely in agreement with having something like a press pass for MCM, and giving that press pass to people who create consumable content, interesting content, photographers, journalists, people who are going to do write-ups, or in some circumstances, social media creators who are going to give MCM something in return for their free tickets. And what I am seeing is people who are just generic cosplayers who don't really put out any content other than just taking selfies with their friends, which is what we all do, and they're getting free tickets. And I don't understand why it's okay to give a meal ticket to a cosplayer who isn't really providing anything special when the rest of us have to save up to be able to afford to go. And I think if you're giving somebody a free pass, they should be providing something substantial in return for that monetary value of the ticket. And that's my mic drop.
Hang on, so I'm just standing up. I'm standing up. Hang on. I generally had to stand up and stand back from my microphone. I totally agree with you 100%. I don't know if you've been listening to my podcast or not, because that's literally what I just said. A couple of I just want to also say, it occurred to me that mine and Laura's are things that we've spoken about before. Just because we said it before doesn't mean we never need to talk about it ever again. If it's something that reoccurs, it's worth talking about again, because clearly either nothing has changed or something has changed. I know there's only those two states, but still, I'm just saying that just because we talk about it once doesn't mean the subject's over. It's always worth going back over the subject and to see if the matter's still the same state or has it changed, and how can we view that situation again. So yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, Laura. I've always said that I feel, from my point of view, and I will say that from my point of view, from the people I follow or see or hear, I think you're right. There are some people in the community that seem to get these creator passes and do fuck all with it. And you're right. It's either just doing... I'm not saying they're doing nothing. Like, putting up selfies, that could be something. You're telling the world, oh, I'm at this place, blah, 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 blah. Fair enough. They're getting photos from photographers. They're putting it online. Fair enough. But
We're
others
all
are doing the exact same thing
and that's
as well.
what pisses me off, is that if somebody's going to be a cosplayer at an event, then have them give me something as somebody who's a paying, participant, guest, a paying customer. That's the word I'm looking for. If I'm paying and I see that another cosplayer has got a free ticket to the event, I would expect that they are going to give something of value in return. So do a talk or do a workshop.
I was going to say, I don't see... This is my argument when I first made it. I don't see people, in a sense, actively promoting said event. They don't go out their way to say, hey, I'm going to be here, or hey, when I'm here, I'm going to do some some TikTok videos, or I'm going to be doing Instagram lives, things like that, and try to do some interviews, things like that. It's like, where's, in a sense, the effort to earn that path? You may have got it this time round, but my argument will always be, it's not about earning it now, it's how do you make sure the next time you apply for it,
I think that this is where the vetting process comes in, because for me, I feel like they see how many followers you've got and just go, yep, okay, free ticket for you. And those tickets aren't cheap. Like, it's a serious consideration for me this year. I'm going to go because I committed to it with friends, but I think I'm probably not going to go in October because it's going to be unaffordable for me. But I'm not going to go and be like, well, I'll apply for a content creator pass. A, I don't have enough followers. But B, like, what am I giving in return for that? I'd feel like a fraud. But some of these people are just like, well, I can't afford to go to MCM, so I'll just get a creator pass. And that's it. You never see them create anything in the way of valuable content.
Yeah, and I will. This is something a mutual friend said when we were chatting about this the other day. I can afford to go to MCM should I get refused a press pass, and I don't think people should ever use that as a way to say, I don't want to pay, so therefore I'm going to apply for this press pass. Like, you should have the mindset that if you can pay, that's the backup to getting a press pass. It shouldn't be, I will only get a press pass or a creator pass, and that is it. Like I have said previously, if I don't get a press pass, I won't go, because I do think going to an event like MCM, I don't know if we've ever mentioned which event we're talking about, so I'm like, should I mention it? Shit, I'm going to... there goes my press pass in the future. But, if because I feel like Repop, the event itself for London, is too expensive for kind of what it is. I'd be happy to eat those words if MCM London becomes the size and the magnet that New York Comic Con is in New York. Funny enough, because it feels like all the big studios turn up. There's things to do. There's there are free merch that you can just pull and things like that. So I pay I keep saying that I pay $200 for it, and I feel I get value for money. If I was a paying customer of Repop, I'd pay 80 quid or 90 quid. because apparently they don't include VAT and handling charge on top of that in that price. It's on top. I don't know if I really feel that I'm getting value for money. If I'm honest, if I'm perfectly honest, and I don't know, I would pay that much. Like when pandemic was in a sense quieting down and Comic Cons did return back to normal, I did say to myself, okay, I'm going to buy these tickets because everyone took a hit when the pandemic hit. All right, everyone took a hit of money. We all took a wage cut. Repop themselves weren't getting any income. It's like, do you know what? For this one time, I will pay for tickets to go to this event. I did also apply for a press pass, and then when I got my press pass for it, I actually gave away my tickets because I didn't think it was fair or right to kind of sell on those tickets because, like I said, everyone took a financial hit. And I didn't feel right. But sorry, I'm now rabbiting on down a different rabbit hole. But going back to your original thing about creators and how some are using it or viewing it, I get very frustrated if I see certain cosplayers who I think should go to get a creator pass but can't because of financial restraints, and I see other content creators who probably don't content create as much or at all and somehow get it. And we know that some people do pay for those extra likes or, the extra follows. And like, look, it's benefited them for that. But at the same time, it's like, it's not a true representation of your brand in my eyes. But that's just me.
No, and just to kind of round off my feelings, it's that I think it creates division within the cosplay community, and I don't like things that create division in a community where we are already, a lot of us, the kids who were not cool in school, to find this community and to feel, when you find your set of friends and it's inclusive and whatever, don't get me wrong, I know there's issues, but to actively just throw creator passes at people who in my eyes don't deserve it, and then have other people look at that as the gold standard and think, well, why am I not good enough? And I don't like things that create division in a community where the last thing that we really need is division. And I don't think generic cosplayers in general, we're all cosplayers, whether you've got 13,000 followers, 14,000, 15,000, 100,000, or 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, or 100, it doesn't matter. People are putting the same effort into what they're doing. We're all, we go on about making costumes, buying costumes, whatever. We're all doing the same thing. To see someone given tickets for doing what you're doing, I don't know. I just don't like it.
And I think the one that I think what you're trying to say is, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, nor do I want to speak for you, but I think it's those people who are very blasé about it. Go, oh, look at me, I got creative. Look at me, I've now moved up on the echelon of the cosplay community. No, you're still wearing a costume.
It doesn't make you any better.
You're just a geek.
And then also to see people say, well, I didn't get it, so I'm obviously not good enough. Well, no, because that's not what it's about. They're clearly just looking at numbers. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter whether you get one or you don't. It doesn't make you better.
Well, we don't know what their criteria is. It's just an appearance that organizations like Repop, Show Masters who do these type of things, it does appear it's based on number counts. I just want to put that out so that's so liability doesn't seem to land on either.
It's me going off on an angry rant. Sorry, Eddie.
If I can jump in here as well, the same thing.
Yeah,
I have made a decision in my life that the career that I have means I have to be very, very careful about what I put online. Like, I can't do certain things or say certain things because as a teacher and as an educator, wrongly or rightly, if parents found my social media profiles and didn't like what they say, they could raise a complaint and I could get fired. Like, that's just how it is. I don't agree with it. Like, I should be free to do whatever I want as long as I'm not, posting hate speech, but I should be free to post, I don't know, a picture of me in lingerie at a shoot because, I want to feel good about my body, but I can't. I have to post it on separate accounts or secret accounts or locked accounts because that's just how it works. I can't promote my cosplay out there because I'm not allowed to do those things. So as someone who, and I am going to toot my own horn a little bit here, Jessie was fucking incredible. She looks amazing. Like, me and my mum spent hours getting those green strips with the right material. Like, we spent a really long time and it's a fucking good costume. And like when I make costumes, I buy them as well sometimes. But when I make them, I spend hours and hours of work on them, and I know everyone does. But I'm so specific on how it has to look. Like this Lyriel one has been 13 years in the making because we've spent hours and weeks and months and years refining the design until we are happy with it. Because I only have, hang on, let's look at my Twitter feed right now. How many followers do I have? Like 7 or something? I have just over 80 followers on Twitter. If it's done by that metric and I applied for a creator pass, I'd never get it. But it's not through my own like fault. I have a job that means I can't promote myself in ways that other cosplayers can. I can't put those pictures out there that I want to because they're a little bit too risque and some parent might disapprove, even if I think they're fine. So I could never get a creator pass, and that makes me feel like I'm not good enough either, even though I am. Like, Jessie is amazing. She's the best costume I've ever made, and I'm incredibly proud of her. But then to see people who can do those things because they haven't got the career that I have or they're not as strictly regulated, that's another thing people never talk about, is people like me who are in really regulated positions who can't do those things. It feels really shitty to be like, well, I could never even apply because for whatever reason beyond my control, I could never do it. And that feels pretty shitty when you see people getting all the creator passes because they've had the freedom to share everything. And I know I did it to myself. I'm fully aware of that. I picked this career. It's my choice. Doesn't make it any less shit, though.
Oh, no, I was going to also add on top, who do you think you are, Gary Lineker? Sorry, at the point of this podcast being recorded, Gary Lineker is no longer on TV. He has stepped back until the situation has been resolved. So therefore, the whole of the BBC Sport has now also stepped back from everything. So, which I don't want to sound like I stand behind Gary Lineker, but in a sense I do. So, but yes, no, I totally agree with you. You're right. There are I can see what you mean by the circumstances that the reason why you've not, shall we say, really pushed on with your, shall we say, social media output, because you can't, because your job and things like that. You've got to protect a certain image, a certain narrative that you are, I hate to say it, neutral. You've got to be like
non-political, non-anything, perfectly neutral, nothing that could upset a parent or could bring the school into disrepute. And you'll never see me post about my place of work ever. Even if it's a positive comment, unless it's on I have a teacher Twitter as well. Like on there, I will post about work and positive content, but you will never see me post like, oh, I had a bad day at work today or anything like that, because even statements as innocuous as that can be a problem.
No, 100%. And like, I've like said on this podcast, I work at an international school. I've not named where that international school is. So I've got to be, because these podcasts are public. I can't stop people listening to these podcasts. So I've got to be very careful about where, what I say. I am careful. It's just that I have to be, at a certain degree, just got to be careful that if something is thrown back at me and it could lose my job, I've got to be prepared for it, because I do stand by what I say, but if it gets me into trouble, then I also got to accept the responsibilities and the repercussions.
And that's why I'll never get any of your HKC stuff posted on my Twitter, because I don't want to privatize my Twitter, because stuff like my Jessie cosplay getting noticed by Remedy would never have happened. But my Instagram is locked down. My Facebook is locked down. But that does make it really tricky, because some of the costumes I want to make are probably not necessarily projecting that image of, good English teacher.
Well, you're suggesting that everyone's vanilla and no one does anything besides teach, go home and sleep. It's like, come on, get real. If you found a teacher that had a BDSM dungeon, but it was fully consented, no children
was fired.
Involved.
That happened. He was fired. Yep.
What?
He worked as a stripper to supplement his income because the government don't pay us enough, and he was fired.
Jesus Christ. Fuck.
See what I mean? That's why it's so...
Yeah.
I knew of a woman who got fired because she posted a picture of her drinking a glass of wine, and she worked at a religious school, and she got fired for having that as her profile picture.
Hang on. Over wine?
One glass of wine. It was her profile picture, and she was fired. And we got told that in teacher training. So, that's why I'm so careful.
To be fair, I, as many people know, I've got that HKC profile, but I don't talk about that at work at all, because I know that would be so spicy that I could be asked either not to do that anymore or be fired for it. So, I'm not ashamed of it, but I know others are of it, and I'm just like, do you know what? it's not worth my career nor worth creating drama for it. So I just keep it quiet all the time.
And that's it. Like, I'm not ashamed of the pictures you've taken of me when we've been doing shoots and stuff, but
Yeah.
I can't put them out there. And some of the costumes I want to make are not necessarily, they are safe for work. Of course they are. But like, they might be a bit spicy for some people's milquetoast tastes. And I could never make them or share them. And that's sad because I'm not ashamed of the creative process or making costumes that make me feel good.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And like, I understand that everyone's limits are different. You can't adjust, you can't make everyone happy. And someone's, doesn't matter if 99% of people say it's fine. That 1% who disagrees, you've got to hear their reasoning why, and you've got to like respect their opinion one way or another. So yeah.
And back to creator passes, that's why I could never apply for one, and why it's so disheartening to see other people who can be free with what they're posting get them, especially if it's like the same costume that I've made, and I'm like, damn.
I bet it is. Oh, jeez. But no, I know Erin hasn't actually had her go at this. So, I mean, Laura, is anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, I pretty much mic dropped and then left the conversation.
And then Eddie actually mic dropped.
Yes.
They don't know that at the wine scene, that's where I dropped off. I went, wine? Fuck this shit, flip table.
It really couldn't have been written better.
So I'm hoping that that's a seamless edit, but I doubt it will. But I don't give a shit. Anyway, all right. Well, if Laura's done and I'm done, and Erin's done, let's move on to you, Erin. So what one thing would you like to talk about that's on your mind?
Just recently, trying to be like an older person on the internet is so hard. I've Alan, my partner, he's a Twitch streamer for all his sins, and he posts like videos and clips on him on on TikTok and Twitter and whatever, and he's like made friends. How did you do that? How does that happen? Like, I don't have many friends in real life, and I've like forced those people to be my friend by being in the same room as them. How are you making friends on the internet? I am 27 years old and I feel like I'm about 105 when I log on to Twitter. I'm like, what is Riz? What is Pog?
Oh,
how do I talk? Like, I am a teacher. I'm around kids all the time, and I still feel old now. Children will ask me things, and I'm like, sorry, what are those words? Do you want to run that by me again?
The one phrase that got recently said to me, which I only heard in real life rather than on TikTok, was, "Oh, that slaps." I'm like, what? What does that mean? I mean, when I was heard in that type of context, I went, I don't understand. But when it was explained to me, I went, oh, that actually makes more sense now. Get it. Right, I get it now. But still, I went, what? But why is it called slaps? I just don't understand. And I don't want people to DM me to say, what? For the love of God, do not DM me. If you DM me, I will send you a picture of me screaming back at you. That's what I'll do, all right?
I just feel like that Simpsons meme of old man shouts at cloud, because I'm like, how are people out here on Twitter making friends? So the date is the 11th of March. Like, yesterday and today on Twitter, the "our flag means death" fandom has done like a big thing, like, oh, if you want to make friends, just reply to this thread and whatever. And I'm there like, but I'm old. And also, same problem as we've just talked about, I can't like post about gay pirates too much on my Twitter feed, because that could be a problem.
But also,
I also can't share any of the things. Sorry, Laura, go on.
If you start saying some of the things that the kids are saying, they look at you weird because you're old.
It's cringe.
Like,
it's so cringe.
I used the word yeet. Both ironically and unironically. I'm like, oh yeah, just yeeted it over there. And I said it the other day, and my brother just looked at me like I'd grown 3 heads, and he was like, why are you saying that? And I was like, because I'm cool.
I used yeet in a PowerPoint, and the kids all went, "Miss, what the fuck?" And I was like, yep, okay. Lesson learned, moving on.
I used a meme in the beginning of one of my PowerPoints, and absolutely nobody laughed. And I was like, oh, okay, that could not have fallen flatter if I had tried.
Oh dear.
So, being an older person, and I'm not even that old, like 27's not old, but I feel like 105.
I just want to say, actually, if you do DM me about what slaps me, I will actually edit myself to be Grandpa Simpson yelling at the clouds, okay? So That's not a threat. Well, no, that is a threat, but yeah.
I can't wait for you to go into your DMs now.
Oh, no, I'm just asking for trouble. But I love how you're saying at 27 you're old. I'm 40 soon.
That's what I mean. I'm not, like, 27's not old, 40's not old. But like, when I go onto Twitter, I feel like I'm entering some kind of weird wasteland where the only people I can commune with are actual old people who are on Twitter by accident and don't know what they're typing, or like people my own age. And people my own age are all cool on Twitter. And I'm there like, I exist. That's all I've got going for me, is that I exist. And they're all like, I did this, I did that. Like, it's that, we talked about social media before, it's that sort of like feeling that you don't belong anywhere. And just being an old person on the internet is hard. Being an older person on the internet is hard.
I think I've been feeling that a lot with my cosplay Instagram as well, in that I used to sort of engage a lot more and sort of do like lives where I was doing makeup as I got into cosplay and stuff like that. I just don't do any of it anymore. I post my pictures and I go, and I don't really care what people think.
I run a book Instagram because I read a lot, and like I'm like, I could do like those cute like book talk videos, and then I'm like, no, I'm too fucking old for that. Good God. It's the worst.
Said someone who's 27. That's all I'm going to say.
I know. Like, that's what I mean. None of us are that old. But why do I feel 706?
Because the internet ages you. The more
God, really
you
does.
go into the comments, the more it drains your life force.
Jeez. Oh dear Lord! It is absolutely, yeah. It's just, it is just terrible. It's I do feel it as well. Just like I'm actually trying to do the opposite of what Laura's doing. I'm trying to be actually more engaging online now. I'm trying to comment on people's posts and trying to say how they like bring joy to my world, shall we say, or that's funny, or I love that cosplay photo, type of thing. I love that cosplay and that photo. So doing the thing that I said I preach, and yeah, I do admit I do think social media is such a young person's game at the moment. Like, I'm going to say this, I don't feel like you need to agree with me, but I wasn't born with social media, so therefore I feel like I can step away quite easily, or just at moments ago, do you know what? It's just social media. It's fine. I just put it away and turn it off. Play, go on my I was going to say Switch, my Steam Deck, and just play a bit of game or just do something else. I don't have to take it serious. But these youngsters who are literally born with a mobile phone in their hands, they just know what they're doing, and they're just so up to date. And then a trend that lasts a month is considered old. Do you remember like flash mobs when it was like in the 90s? Or was it the 90s or the early 2000s?
Yeah.
And that lasted like a year.
Social media trends used to be so long. Like, planking was in for about 6 months.
Yeah. And now it's just over now. It's just like it's null and void, really.
And if you say to a child that you use Facebook, they look at you and you're like, what the fuck, why?
Oh my God, yeah. I just had that in my international school. I just went, oh yeah, I'm on Facebook. What? Why? I'm like, oh my God. It's like people using Snap now. It's like for a way to communicate. I went, isn't that the app where you send something, it like deletes it after a day? I went, yeah. I went, okay.
I absolutely refuse. I very briefly joined a dating website, and like, I'm 35, so I'm looking in the age range of like 30 to 37, 30, yeah, I don't know. Not young, basically. And like fully grown adult men would be like, oh, add me on Snap. And I'd be like, I refuse, because that is not how we are going to do this. I'm not communicating with you from a dating website via Snapchat, because I am a grown fucking woman.
Yep. 100% agree. Yeah, it's amazing how social media just makes you feel old. So yeah, I mean, I recently joined TikTok as for my sins, and I think it was just a way to like, one, protect my name on social media so that no one could steal it, but maybe it was just a way to like to trick my mind that I can still play the young person's game, and like, no, I think my days are long over now. So I just post once a week now on TikTok, and yeah, it's actually doing me a world of good actually to do that, to find another outlet to be creative. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to compete with the others. It's like, if I see something that interests me that I feel like, oh yeah, I can copy that, I'll be there, or I've got an idea to create a video, I'll just do it. and I don't care really if it actually goes viral or not, because that's my way of like creating content. If people find me funny, people find me funny.
Yeah, I think the worst part for me is like my content is writing. I'm a writer, but it's all fan fiction. But I can't share that. Like, the kids can find my Twitter, that's fine. I draw the line at them finding my fan fiction account. Like, that is something that cannot happen in my life ever.
Yeah.
I mean, how spicy is your fan fiction?
Yes.
That answer does not equate to the question I asked.
And yet, it's all you're going to get.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
I haven't written
no.
fan fiction for like a good 10-15 years, and if anybody ever discovered it, I would die.
Yeah, see, I hadn't until this year. I looked back at my AO3 account and my last posting was like 2013. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Oh, shit.
Why oh shit, if you don't mind me asking it?
Because I'm fucking back here again. 16 again. 17 again. 10 years on. My writing is so much better though, so like that's what I'm taking away from it.
Oh, that's good, I think.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, why not? We'll go with that. We will go with that. I think I have to bring the podcast to an end. I think we've shot ourselves in the foot, in the face, and in the heart, whichever way you want to say it.
Sounds like one of my fan fictions, Eddie.
Where do you think I got the line from?
Oh shit. If you know me IRL, no the fuck you don't.
Wow. Thank you very much, both of you, for being on the podcast, for indulging me on this podcast, sharing some of the things that are on your mind. Should anyone need to find you on the internet, Laura, where can they find you? They
can pretty much only find me on Instagram because, as I mentioned, I am old and I don't really do other social media. But I'm Mossflower Cosplay on Instagram.
Fantastic. And Erin, where can they find you on the social media if you're allowing people to find you on social media?
Well, Twitter is open because I use it to share pretty safe and normal stuff. So you can find me on Twitter at Ottery Khaleesi, or you can find me on Instagram, same handle, but that one is locked down because that's where some of the spicier stuff goes.
Excellent. The fan fiction, where can they find that?
Fuck you at absolutelynoway.com.
Oh, dearie me. If people need to find me on the social medias, if you go to foodandcosplay.org/links, that's where you'll find all my social media links there. If you go to foodandcosplay.org generally, you'll find cosplay photos that I put up, and I'm putting up some articles here and there when I can. If you go to foodandcosplay.org/podcast, you'll find podcasts that I've recorded with these two together with different subjects separately and things like that. Go find them there. If you go to patreon.com, you can find... patreon.com, you'll find other creators. But if you go to patreon.com/foodandcosplay, you'll find my content. And you can help me produce these podcasts. I keep saying to myself, I'm going to create some podcast extras so that it's actually worth it to join, so you can hear the extra stuff that we do, afterwards or before, things like the actual banter section. Maybe I probably should put a fuller version of that online. But yeah. And apologies to Tom. We'll Tom Gallagher of photography will get you on the podcast next time. But I just want to say thank you very much again for being on the podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed yourself chatting, getting these things off your chest.
Always.
Yeah, it's been good.
The hell is that?
My phone started playing music and I haven't even touched it.
Oh, you're haunted, mate.
I don't know what's happening.
Well.
All three of us are currently old man yells at cloud, but Laura is now young woman yells at phone, so you know. Yeah.
The old man yells at cloud. I post that gif quite a lot on my Facebook. I think Eddie might have seen it a few times.
Oh, I have. 100 yeah. I have. Excellent. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Erin's going to say bye. Laura's going to say goodbye. Let's do that again. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Erin say
bye.
Bye.
Bye. What the fuck is wrong with me?